Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to make one of my favorite sourdough bagel recipes. This is a Montreal-style bagel where we are going to be using some sourdough in it, and the bagels are going to be boiled in a honey and maple syrup bath. And I love this recipe because the bagels freeze super well. They also taste fantastic the day of. We will probably eat them for snack time tonight because I'm starting it first thing in the morning here, and then the dough and everything will rise. We'll shape them later today and get their toppings. I mean, toppings are the funnest part of bagels. We're gonna do cheese ones and sesame. If I can dig up some poppy seed, maybe some of those. And yeah, we'll see what other fun little toppings. Usually we do like a cinnamon sugar one. Let's get started. I've got all my ingredients for the bagels, and we are going to get started on making some Montreal-style homemade bagels. This recipe calls for 3 teaspoons of yeast. We're going to substitute in some sourdough, so today we're only going to be using 1 teaspoon of yeast. And we'll be using 1 cup of warm water and 1/3 cup of sourdough. I just pulled my sourdough out of the fridge earlier this morning. Usually I keep my sourdough in the fridge all the time, basically on vacation mode permanently. If you haven't seen my how to maintain sourdough video, I'll link that in the description below. Lincoln is playing in his toy kitchen as well this morning. So I'm just gonna give that a stir, and I'll probably let it sit for about 10 minutes just to let the sourdough kind of warm up there with the water. I just want to show you guys, since I've made sourdough crepes as well as the bagels, I'm just going to top up my sourdough and feed it here. I'm going to be feeding it about 1/2 cup of flour and 1/2 cup of water. And then I'll just be putting him back in the fridge again. And then I love to keep a piece of tape or a sticky note on my sourdough just so that I can keep track of when I last fed it. And then I can update it just as easily. So that is a real great trick.
Extra looks good.
It extra looks good? It's bagels. We're at the next step.
Oreo.
Stir that in.
See the teeth. This was extra good. Just turn it. Not too fast.
Nice and slow, okay?
Still small. See?
Good. So we ended up doubling the recipe, and I have 1 recipe going for Lyric and 1 recipe going for Lincoln, just so you guys are kind of filled in.
What's this for?
You could totally double the recipe in the same bowl, but I have 2 children, so they are each making their own recipe of bagels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No ingredients.
Yeah. This is my all-time favorite honey. It comes from near my hometown, Scandia Fields, alfalfa clover honey. I adore this honey. I don't know what I'm gonna do in life. I need to buy it by the case forever.
No water, dump it you.
Okay, it's hard to dump in. But see, I gotta scrape it out. And 1 for you. Let me hold your stirring utensil over the bowl though, okay? There we go. You want to lick it? Yeah, okay, you can each lick it when we're done here. Okay. You want to lick it? You can lick it. There you go, lick it. Honey.
I ate.
You like it? Do you like honey? It's good, right? Okay, to help the honey dissolve in, we'll probably put it on the mixer here, guys. Okay, now we're gonna add the salt. Now it takes a lot of salt. 1 tablespoon of salt. You want to lick it? Yeah. Okay. Stop licking it. No, because I have to do one more after.
I like it.
Oh, you like it. Of course you like it. Mix the salt in nice.
Time to add the flour.
Han, how many cups do you think we are going to need?
5.
Wow, that's exactly how many cups we need. Good job. We need 5 cups of flour, okay?
Is which on the
Linky, give it a tap tap. Can you tap tap it? Yeah, tap tap the top. Thank
One.
you. 1. Okay, now close it and mix it. This is what the dough looks like with 4 cups of flour added. It is very sticky.
Yes.
So we're gonna add our 5th and final cup here, and then we'll show you what it looks like.
Yeah. It's too catch.
Thank you, Lincoln.
And
then eat them and bake them.
And
You gotta
then-
boil them.
And then you can probably make it a bagel die, like a happy face bagel
A
die.
happy face bagel guy.
But
Cool.
most times there's just a sourdough bagel.
Oh, yeah. So this is what the mixer accomplished with the beater hook. I think I might just switch it to the dough hook here and see if it does a little bit better job. Cheers. Push hard, push hard. Yeah, here, not with your soother. There we go, try now. Oh, so strong. Oh my goodness. This is what the dough looks like. I've just lightly oiled or grease sprayed a bowl, and now we're just going to cover it and wait until this evening. I love these bowls with lids. It's just so convenient rather than trying to find a piece of saran wrap. From this point, you want to cut the dough into 16 pieces. So each of these balls is going to be cut into 16 pieces. We'll cover this one back up so that he stays moist. Have a towel ready to cover your dough as you're working on it. I mean, you can probably cut it and get more if you want to make them small, which we tend to make a variety of sizes. From here, you want to roll them into a snake. You want to make it into about a 10-inch rope. So if this is 6, so I need a bit more. Keeps on shrinking on me, and then you take the ends and you can do the pinch. And you want to make sure that you pinch it together really well, because otherwise they will unform in the honey bath. So that is definitely where a lot of your time is going to be spent, is doing that. And as you can see, I got one side that's a little thicker than the other side, kind of like a pretzel. If you want to even it out more, to make it more bagel-like instead of pretzel-like, you can. And then you just put it on a wax paper, and then you'll want to cover that as well. The other method that I have seen for rolling is to make it more flat. Shape it round. And then you just poke a hole in the middle. This helps with finding the evenness with the dough, And then you don't have to worry about it breaking so much. I do find that the holes tend to come back, so in the bath they tend to be less holy or have like no hole almost when you do this way, unless you stretch it pretty big. I bet it would keep its hole shape there. I think that this method is probably the faster method. Originally I was shown to make the rope, so this is definitely the speedier way to do this. Once you form all your bagels, they are going to be sitting for 30 minutes, and that's when you get to start your honey bath. And you want to work fairly efficiently. I think that's why I've resorted to the hole method, the hole making method. Because then it's just that much faster. Some of them I feel like are a little too big. Then you can always cut them, make them mini. I mean, I have kids, so sometimes a mini one is better because then they will eat like maybe 2 of them and it's just right, versus if you make them really big, then they just end up wasting it. Every bagel a little different. I have made 45 bagels on these 3 trays, so this is a double batch. You are only supposed to make 16 from the recipe, but I always find they're so big for the kids. Like I said, I end up cutting a bunch of them in half. So now I have 45 bagels, and they're gonna sit for 30 minutes and rise. 30 minutes of rest time, and now we are ready for the boiling step. Boys are having snack, and we are going to start boiling and baking these. The recipe calls for 14 to 15 cups of water, but because I've doubled the recipe, I actually just added 20 cups of water, and now I'm going to add 1.5 cups of honey. You can use the alternative and use some maple syrup, which I probably will end up using some maple syrup for that. And you just want to, when the water is boiling, you want to take your honey and your maple syrup, get that in there. I started to preheat the oven to 425 degrees. When I bake the bagels, they'll be baking for 10 minutes at the 425. So yeah, so I've added 1 cup of honey, and now I'm going to add 1/2 cup of maple syrup. If you were doing the regular recipe, you would just do 1 cup of honey and or maple syrup. I've always used honey, so I don't know if it would just taste a lot different if it was all maple syrup, but I do like to add some maple syrup to it. One, two, three, and a big one. Very good. Oh, gentle hands. All right. I just want to show you guys, these are the awesome racks that I would highly recommend you use or set up something that is raised, because that works the best. One rack is going to be for when they're cooling, and one rack is going to be for after they're done boiling.
Why?
So I like this setup where the rack is right beside the pot. So what we're going to do there, careful, this is boiling. You slowly drop it in, just like the corn, right? Slowly drop it in. One. Slowly. Two.
I want to do
Only three, okay? Only three. That's the max. Good.
Why?
Whoa, careful.
Why just
The other thing I would recommend is tongs that are more silicone-y so they don't damage your bagels. Then we're gonna get our handy phone out and set a timer. You want to boil them for 1.5 to 2 minutes on each side. So we'll set the timer here for 1.5 minutes. Then this is the topping station. We got our cinnamon and sugar mixture, black and regular sesame seeds, and cheese. There's the timer, Lyric. The timer is done. We'll take them out. I've changed my setup a little. The ready to go ones are over there, and these ones are gonna go here because they're done.
But Mama, when you're wet and you put seasonings on, what do you do then?
Okay, Lyric, we're ready to open the oven because look, what time is it? 8:37. Okay, stand back. It's hot.
Whoa! Whoa! Oh, we made our own!
Closing it. Good boy. To do the other toppings, you would take your bagel while it's still kind of hot and wet and dip it. And then she's ready to go, be baked. And then cinnamon and sugar. Lincoln, are you ready? Look.
And the sushi comes out.
Zuzu's out. Look at the 3 different flavors, huh? Oh, is that your pick? They're hot. Don't touch yet.
Like and subscribe any day. Video.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this content and enjoyed learning how to make your own bagels. I love that this recipe is so easy and you can make your own bagels. They make great travel snacks as well as breakfasts for the kids. I think they're just super fantastic. And then as well, this recipe is super versatile. If you don't want to make them sourdough, you don't have to. I will put the recipe in the description below, but you are welcome to make them just with regular yeast as well. Thanks so much for watching. Up next is my sourdough playlist. Feel free to check that out for more recipes and ideas.
More.
More? What do you want more?
I want this one.
You want this one? Can you say, I want the big one?
I want the big one. I want the big one. I want the big one. I want the big one.
I want the big one.
I want the big one.